tunaenda handle tu.
Were those promising targets that were not after his 5,000 crowds of production you have been told?
The Israelis, you were told, was producing and was producing with 90,000 shillings money that was paid out.
And the approach that was used to execute it.
The law of parliament is basically to oversight what government is doing, and I want to say with confidence that out of the 10,000 acres, 5,100 acres is under crop. The remaining balance of approximately 4,900 acres, all what is remaining is the last mile connectivity to supply water to the remaining acreage. And what the request which we have received so far from the Minister of Water is for approximately 600 million, so that they can really be able to complete the last mile connectivity of the remaining 4,900 acres to ensure that the entire 10,000 is under crop, or the infrastructure is complete. And that is what, as the Committee of Environment, Water and Natural Resources has approved, recommended to the Budget and Appropriation Committee. And I'm pretty confident that the BAC, or the Budget Committee, we're going to approve the same for consideration by the entire House. So as Parliament, I want to give an undertaking that we are going to avail the remaining 600 million Kenya shillings, so that now we can really be able to talk of the complete 10,000 acres.
NIA has done its work because the infrastructure is in place and the water intake there has been stabilized. A few engineering issues which they have solutions for. I think what is needed is goodwill to now have private sector practitioners, farmers, to produce in a consistent way and depoliticizing the whole issue. and let it be a private sector. You know, when there is too much politics around an issue, even when it's viable, people keep away from it because of the politics. And I think the most important thing here is to use part of the land for food production and use the other part of the land for commercial production, so that the investor is not subsidizing food production, but instead is keeping the part of food security there, but also making money.
All we are requesting the committee in Parliament to understand is that we need about 900 million, between 600 and 900, to have the whole 10,000 acres the way it was conceived to be.
We already have maize on the ground, 2,000 acres, which is at different stages. Maturity stage to add is the young crop, and we are going on planting to achieve the 3,000 acres at a center pivot system. And then we are doing 500 acres for drip irrigation in this farm where we are now, the drip farm area, which is 1,800 acres. We're starting because of demo. It has not been used before for planting, so we're using 500 acres to grow maize under the same system to confirm what's required so that we can utilize the entire farm. And as I've said, we have 10 acres right now of these other crops, the alternative crops. And we are in the process of expanding as we see how they perform.
On the printed estimates for the next financial year, we've been allocated 10 million Kenya shillings. Even in this current financial year, you are allocated the same 10 million Kenya shillings. But that is basically to take care of the infrastructure here. That is not the money we have spent to grow this crop. We have used other resources within the ministry to do that. And if we go to that budget, the budget that we have sought for, we would be able to demonstrate on these 10,000 acres. We can be able to do as you can see, like you can see here. We have that capacity, and that's why we came to demonstrate. We are still in talks because when we surveyed the contract, the initial funding that we had was also severed, of course, because it could not go on. We are now relying on our own exchequer to be able to develop what we can. And there isn't much to develop really, other than the infrastructure. We make sure that there is enough water, adequate water coming from the river, and we make sure that these roads are motorable. We have the issue of electricity here. The money spent to run these machines here through the diesel engines that you can see is colossal. So that is another area that we need to be supported upon. The PPP model exists in government. It's nothing new. There's an act. The PPP Act is there. It is the one we shall invoke upon the National Treasury, so that we see whether we can go through it. It makes provisions on how you can be able to acquire private people to partner with the government and be able to. So may not tell you. It depends on the processes involved, but it does not take long, as long as we can be able to agree that that is the way to go. First, we have to agree, and that's why I'm here, even with the parliamentary committee, that is the way to go. We cannot keep asking NIA to continue growing this. They have demonstrated enough. This is actually the second crop that we have demonstrated, and we have done it, and we have actually made money out of it. We've already demonstrated that this place is viable, but we don't want to go to another season without having to bring in the private capacity.